This is a tutorial on how to set up a references page in APA style following the 6th edition of APA. With your blank Word document, you're going to start by centering at the top of the page the word references. You will capitalize the R. It will always be plural even if you only have one source on your references page. And you do not use bold or italics or enlarged font or anything of that sort. Set your spacing to double space and then hit enter. Move your alignment to the left and then using the paragraph drop-down menu, choose indentation, special, hanging, and then click OK. Now you're ready to type your first reference. It's extremely important that you use the hanging indent. And if you are using Google Docs or Pages or Word 365, you may find the location of the hanging indent in different spots or with different commands, but somewhere the programs should have the ability to do the hanging indent. Never use the space bar or the tab key to try to align in the look of the hanging indent. Okay, so we are ready to begin. We'll start with the author's last name, comma, space, first initial, space, and the date is next, in parentheses, always starting with the year, comma, month, and day. End with a parenthesis, and then a period. Next comes the title, and that would be in sentence case, which means you would capitalize as if you were typing a sentence. So we are only going to capitalize the first letter of the first word. And then put a period at the end of that title. If you have a proper noun within the title, you of course would capitalize that. And if you have a subtitle, which is indicated with a colon, you would capitalize the first letter of the first word in that subtitle. Okay, next comes the source, which would be the publication where the article was published. For that, we're going to change our font to italics, and we're going to use title case so that we capitalize the first letter of all important words. After the name of the publication, you'll put a comma, space, and then type the number of the volume if it's available. That would be in italics. Take your font off of italics, and in parentheses, right next to the volume, you'll type the issue number in parentheses with a comma, space, and then the page numbers and a period. For this article, we found this in a database, but there was no DOI, and so you would write retrieved from and put the home address or URL of the publication, which in this case would be Business Today, and that would be as you see here, and then you're done with that entry and you will hit enter. Now we're ready for the next source. Notice that the hanging indent places the first line all the way to the left and then indents subsequent lines. Do not hit enter as you're typing the entry information until you get to the very end. When you hit enter, then you will be ready for the next source. So the next source for this particular paper is 8 Flex Trends. It does not have an author, so we are going to begin with the title. Again, using sentence case. Never begin your entry with a date. If you do not have an author, you will use the title first. Because this title begins with a number, it may be confusing as to where it is arranged alphabetically, but you would alphabetize it as if the number were spelled out. So 8 would begin with E, E comes after C, so these are in the correct order. Again, you'll put your date. This one did not have a day, just a year and a month. You will then move to your publication. Let's get this spelled right. Again with a comma, giving the volume number in italics, the issue number in parentheses, followed by a comma, space, and then the page numbers and a period. This again is from a database, and so we will give the home page of the publication. Excuse me. The next source is more than one author, so we will type the first author that is listed on the article. Do not rearrange the authors. You just list them in the same order they're listed on the article. And give the initials, comma. And if you had several authors, you would continue to list them with a comma between them. Again, last name, comma, first initial, comma. When you get to the last author, you'll use the ampersand and then author's last name, comma, and initials with periods after the initials. Again, the date comes after the author. Then comes our title in sentence case. With a period. Next comes your publication, comma, space, volume number, in parentheses, your issue number, comma, space, the page numbers. And for this article, this was also from a database. It could also be one you found online. If it has a DOI, then you always want to list that. That is the digital object identifier and is the best way to access an article. So this did have a DOI, so we're going to say DOI and make this a small d, even though Word wants to capitalize it. Colon, space, and then you'll need to type the string for that DOI. Please make sure that you are being very accurate in the information that you place, that it is exactly the DOI that's listed. Again, let Word move it to the next line if you have a long string. This one is relatively short, so I'll hit enter, and now I'm ready for the next author. So this does not give you all the different types of articles that you may be putting on your references page, but at least this will show you how to set it up, what it should look like, the fact that you will arrange your entries alphabetically, and a little bit about the different elements in that reference. Hopefully this will be helpful as you work on your references page.